I'm the Reverend Gene Dishlewski. I'm pastor of Lime Rock Baptist Church, and I'm the co-chair of the Religious Coalition for Reproductive Freedom. I believe that everyone's path through life and the decisions that we make has to be focused on the quiet voice of God in our hearts, in our souls. That conscience is the path that we have to follow. The Christian communities do not universally agree on the issue of abortion. There is nothing compelling in the biblical record. In the long history of Christian tradition, the prevalent position was to allow abortion. However, this was inconsistent. As a matter of fact, such luminaries as St. Augustine actually took both positions. He argued with himself. And he ended up saying, he opined that, I just don't know at what point in the continuum of fetal development a human begins to live. And it seems that he gave up the illusion of an absolute certainty and avoided finding a point in the continuum. As pastor of a Baptist church in the tradition of Roger Williams, I value the freedom of choice. Williams held that conscience is the mechanism through which humanity is connected with the divine, and that no authority is entitled to intercede. To violate conscience is to interfere with God's work and to insult human dignity. In effect, conscience is an inalienable human feature, and freedom from coercion is a human right. Williams believed that humans were fallible and religion was subject to interpretation by fallible humans. He was especially convinced that involvement of government in religious matters was a bad idea. Roger Williams seemed to believe that no person should be so sure of themselves, so sure of their perception of the truth, so as to justify their imposing their beliefs on someone else. A peaceful social order cannot be accomplished merely by control and legislative action. It requires tolerance. It requires goodwill on the part of all of us and a generosity of spirit that members of the society can find within our souls to express. Coercion is an affront to tolerance. This bill avoids coercion, but allows freedom of conscience. The bill recognizes the moral agency of women. As a religious leader who provides pastoral care to congregants, I'm convinced that it is the free exercise of conscience that is the moral imperative. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Metz.
Well, Reverend, I respectfully disagree, as I did on the other issue with you. They gave Adam and Eve the freedom of choice, and they bit the apple, and that was the fall of man. I don't intend on biting the apple again. And as far as what you said, and I asked you last time and you never did it, I asked you to show me back up what you said in Scripture. And, Psalm 139, when it talks about, for thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Then Jeremiah 1:5, before God called him before he was formed in his mother's womb. So personally, Roger Williams, I was taught, because people misconstrue the separation of church and state. You separate the institution, not the influence. If you go back to some of the speeches of George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, their speeches are laced with Scripture. So to say that, because somebody already told me that earlier, you need to keep that stuff out of here. My First Amendment right, the first thing is freedom of religion. My belief is just as good as yours. So I respectfully disagree with you, but I respect it. I respect how you feel, but I'm not gonna kowtow to Satan or anybody else. So Is God pleased with this, or is Satan pleased with what we're doing tonight? And in my humble opinion, it's Satan that's pleased, not the Lord. So that's my opinion, Madam Chair, and I don't need a response.
Thank you, Senator Metz. The next